Some colleagues from Caltech, Pasadena, and Harvard University proposed a very recent and new discovery about the Mars planet. These colleagues actually discovered that the surface of the subsurface, near surface of Mars could really host life. This is based on their calculation of oxygen, molecular oxygen, dissolved in some brines on the subsurface of this planet, and the amount of dissolved oxygen could be sufficient to allow the breath of a microorganism and a sponge. We must start to understand what my colleagues actually discovered from what we know on the Earth atmosphere and the Mars atmosphere. In detail, we know perfectly that the Earth's atmosphere is constituted by 21% of oxygen, molecular oxygen, at a pressure of 1 bar. If you instead go on the Mars atmosphere, you must know that the pressure of this atmosphere is only 6 millibar, so it's very, very low pressure. And the oxygen amount in the atmosphere of Mars is very, very low, just some trace. And probably this oxygen comes from the destabilization of the CO2. What from the rovers, from the orbiters, was measured that the oxygen content in atmosphere is about 0.1% of the entire atmosphere. But we perfectly know that it's now accepted that the subsurface and the surface of Mars can contain some special compounds, like we call brines. They are saline compounds, hydrous saline compounds, with some special perchlorates, especially magnesium and calcium perchlorate. So what my colleagues from US proposed and calculated is the dissolution of oxygen in these materials at different temperature, from about 130 degrees under zero to 25 degrees. They discovered that the amount of oxygen that can be dissolved in these compounds can reach easily the same values of what we have today in our oceans. So this means clearly that the subsurface of Mars planet can really host life, at least in terms of monocellular organism or multicellular organism, like, for example, the sponge. It will be very interesting at this stage to understand if you remember the great discovery published in Science on the lake of probably saline water 1.5 kilometers below the surface of Mars, can really have sufficient oxygen to host some more complex form of life.